Hello guys, welcome to CarTalk Sri Lanka, the place where you need to go for in order to find accurate information about the vehicles that you are interested in. So, if you're looking for a car that is really reliable, a car that is really cheap to run, a car that is really easy to maneuver in town, this might be the car you are looking for because it's a 2013 Toyota Prius, and in this video we are going to find out why it is one of the most demanded hybrid cars in Sri Lanka.
So let's straight away start this review by talking about the engine, because that is the most important part in any vehicle. So let me open it for you. So under the hood we get a 1.5 litre inline 4-cylinder engine which makes around 74 horsepower and 111 Newton meters of torque. That is paired to an electric motor which makes around 60 horsepower and 169 Newton meters of torque. So the total combined output is 99 horsepower. I know that is not the exact combination of the numbers, but that is how the hybrid system works. So are 99 horses enough for this thing? I hope so, at least on paper, because this car is super light. It only weighs 1148 kilos. So it's really light, and I'm really excited to see how that plays out when it comes to the handling department, which we find out later in this review when we do the driving test. But for now, let's just quickly go and see how fast it can reach from 0 to 60 kilometers per hour. Now let's check how fast this car can reach from a standstill to 60 kilometers per hour. The reason why I'm doing 0 to 60 and not 0 to 100 is because this car anyway takes around 11 seconds to reach 100 kilometers per hour, so that is anyway on the slower side. But let's just quickly go and check 0 to 60 so that you get a good good idea about the initial acceleration of the car. So I'm gonna have to wait until the road clears a little bit. Okay, now the road is clear, we can go. I'm going to brake boost it. 3, 2, 1. How long does it take?
6.8.
6.8 seconds. Not bad, eh? For a 99 horsepower car. So I know it is nowhere near fast, but for this kind of car, that's not bad. So the looks wise, the front looks absolutely beautiful. It looks far better than a normal Prius because of this color, and it is fitted with a body kit. As you can see, there are some black accents here and some black accents inside the headlamp, and we also do get headlamp washers which you get as a part of the G grade. G grade is like the premium grade, and the way it pops out and sprinkle water on the headlamp is absolutely beautiful. And we also get some fog lights, not some fog lights, we also get 2 fog lights and turning indicators. And yeah, from the front it looks absolutely beautiful. So the side looks of the car, it doesn't look as good as the front, but it looks somewhat better with the side skirt you get here. And yeah, and we also get turning indicators on the mirrors, and guess what guys, we get keyless entry. That is a paid option for most of the premium cars like BMWs, but here it is a standard feature, so that's something good Toyota has done. So how that works is, when you grab your door handle like this, it unlocks for you as long as you have the key in your pocket, and if you want to lock it, you just have to touch here and it closes. Then we move to brakes. In the front we have disc brakes, and in the rear we have drum brakes. So they are not normal brakes, they are regenerative brakes, which means when you apply the brakes, they not only brake but they also regenerate power and put that power back into the hybrid battery, and that is how it gives those amazing fuel economy numbers. Speaking of fuel economy, after all, that's why you guys buy this car, right? So this has a fuel tank capacity of 36 liters, and of course you can use normal petrol. So here in Sri Lanka, 92 octane is just fine, you don't have to use premium fuel. So the fuel economy is, when you drive around town without traffic, you can easily get somewhere around 23 to 24 kilometers per liter, and on the highway though, when you are doing motorway speeds, you get somewhere around 20 kilometers per liter. And when you go on longer journeys, and that means a combination of highway driving, city driving without traffic, and B roads, you can easily get somewhere around 27 kilometers per liter. I'm talking about realistic fuel numbers, guys, right? But there's one concern though. Although this is very fuel efficient, when you're stuck in traffic, it is really less fuel efficient. I mean, you will get something like 12 kilometers per liter. And the reason why that happens is, when the car is stationary, it can't charge the hybrid battery. I mean, when the car is not moving, it is continuously using the AC, which consumes the hybrid battery. So when the battery is run out of juice, it uses petrol power and recharges that battery. And it ruins your fuel economy basically when it happens more often than it usually does. But really, that is my only concern. Other than that, fuel efficiency is absolutely good. And now looking at the back, I mean, back looks alright. It is not as good as the front, but it looks better than the side view. And we also get a shark fin antenna here, which is cool. And we get all the lights here, the turning indicators, park light, brake light, and the reverse light. And we also get some black accents down here, which we get as the part of the body kit. And now let's quickly go and see the boot. So to open the boot, you have to press this button and hold it and manually lift it like this. In here we get 17 cubic feet. So in liters, that is 481 liters if I'm not mistaken. And if you want to extend the space available here, you can fold down rear seats like this. So let me show it for you. Although you can extend the space, still there is a massive hump on the floor, so be aware of that. And but on a positive note, we have been provided a light which is really helpful when things get dark. And we have also been provided an under storage capacity which can be used to store a spare tire like this, or you can store your toolkit. And overall, for a subcompact hybrid, the boot capacity is good. Now let's check how the rear seats feel like. Well, the first thing I notice is there's good amount of thigh support, which I was not really expecting, and there's good amount of knee room and okay amount of headroom for me. But I'm not the tallest person in the world, so I'm just 5'3". So people over 6 foot may just be brushing their hair on the roof, so be aware of that. But on a positive note, there's no hump in the floor, so there's enough space for everyone's feet, and that is really useful if you want to carry 3 people at once. Speaking of carrying 3 people, let's check the middle seat. Yes, this is really not comfortable, and I don't think I can sit here for very long. And I'm almost touching, my hair is almost touching the roof. Yes, but technically you can carry 3 people at once in the back of this car, but it's going to be difficult for the person sitting in the middle. And you can carry 3 people as long as the person sitting in the middle is a very short person. So let's check the storage. And in terms of storage available in the back here, that is one of my biggest complaints, because we have not been provided rear door bins. I mean, that is really a shame, because where are rear passengers supposed to put their stuff? It could be their umbrella, or in this day and age it could be their hand sanitizer, so that's really a shame. But on a positive note, we have been provided some net pockets which can be really useful because you can store your mobile devices. And we have also been provided a cup holder, although I don't know whether it can hold a proper cup. And we have some storage area here as well. And we have already also been provided 2 speakers, which is good, because at least they have thought about some sort of entertainment in the back here. But as far as safety is concerned, it is really good because it has been provided 9 airbags. Now I'm in the front of the car, and the first thing I notice is these front seats are more comfortable than rear seats, and I have good amount of knee room, okay amount of headroom. But in this scenario, we can adjust the height of the seat, so there are manual adjustments, so you can increase the height by pulling up a lever like this, or if you want to lower it, you can push it down like this. And if you want to slide the seat forward, you can raise the bar here and slide it forward, or if you want to slide it backwards, you can do that as well. And a must-have option for me is reclining the seat at a 180 angle, because when I go on longer journeys, then I can take a nap and continue driving. So let me demonstrate it for you. And another must-have option for me is seat heating options. So we have been provided heating options, so it is really useful. And although it is only available for front passengers, that is really something great for this kind of car, because when you go somewhere like New Australia, these buttons are really useful and they heat really well. So now the steering wheel. In the steering wheel you get manual adjustments as usual. So if you want to lower the position of the steering wheel, you can put it down like this, and if you want to raise the height, you can raise it like this and lock the lever. And these are the only steering wheel adjustment you get in this car. Speaking of the door, we have an automatic window power button only on the driver's side, and all the other buttons you have to manually hold them. And we have a center lock here, and since this is the premium G grade, we have been provided a chrome door handle, which is fancy, but I don't know what is so fancy about that when everything else feels so cheap. Because for example, we can see plastic here, plastic there. So the overall build quality is not very good, and I kind of like it because it's so simple, but some people may hate it. But on a positive note, we have some good front storage options which we did not see in the back. For example, we can see an area to store coins here, and we have been provided huge door bins in the front, and we get 2 cup holders here, some storage area here, and a massive glove box and some storage under your armrest as well. So in terms of front storage, it is really good. Now the infotainment system. I mean, if I really own this car, I would just take the whole thing out and replace it with a new one, because we can't change the language of the infotainment system. And I've tried so hard, but it seems impossible. And most of the basic functions such as satellite navigation is not supported here in Sri Lanka. But on a positive note, the sound quality is still really good, and we can still do all the basic functions such as inserting CDs and connecting your phone via Bluetooth. All those basic functions can still be done. So now let's see how this car feels in town. When you start the car, it automatically goes to EV mode. EV stands for electric vehicle, and you can pretty much stay in EV mode as long as you are gentle with the throttle. And Toyota says you can accelerate up to 60 kilometers per hour in pure EV mode. But really that depends on how much power you have left in your hybrid battery. For example, power is represented by a set of 10 bars. I'm sorry for that. And if you only have like 2 bars out of 10, that's like 20% of the power. And in that scenario, you are very unlikely to stay in EV mode for long. And when you go above 20-30 kilometers per hour, the petrol engine will engage. But if you have like 50% of the juice, then you can pretty much cruise in EV mode even at 60 kilometers per hour. So I think the limiter is somewhere around 60, 62, 63. Then the petrol engine will anyway engage. And there is also a separate EV button down here, which I think is a show-off button because it's really useless, and it only works when the hybrid battery is like 99% full, and you don't need it, because the hybrid system in general in this car, or for any Prius for that matter, is very good. Because Toyotas, they have been making hybrids since 1997, and that says it all. And the transition between petrol engine and the electric motor is very smooth, and it is almost seamless, and one of the main reasons why it gives you very good fuel economy. So the suspension of the car, I have to say it is really not really firm, it's a little bit firm, and when you drive the car on bumpy roads, you will feel the bumps. But for most of you guys, if you drive this car in town, it's not terrible. You can deal with that, I'm sure. So it's not much of an issue. Let's just overtake this guy. And the steering wheel is nice and light, and the turning radius is like 4.8 meters, which makes it really easy to maneuver in town. And transmission, this is a CVT, so it's an automatic. You don't have to bother changing gears in town, and it's really convenient. And I can't say I love it as a car enthusiast, because you don't get that same sensation of changing gears, and you don't feel any gear changes because it's a CVT. So when you accelerate, it holds RPM at a constant level. And another thing that I want to talk about is the brake feeling of this car. So this is a hybrid. So when you apply the brake, it not only brake, but it also regenerates power and put that power back into the hybrid battery. So it's a little bit of a different feeling than normal brakes, but brake feeling, brake stop power is really good in general. And another thing is the visibility. So I get a good view from the front, a good view from, not a very good view, but okay view from the back. Because in the back window, when there are passengers on board, you will only see like 50% of that back window, and it can sometimes make things difficult. And we get a bit of a blind spot from A pillars, but still we have been provided a tiny window, so you can always look through it when you chunk it into a corner, which is really handy. And overall visibility of the car is really good. Oh, we got a bit of a situation here. So to demonstrate the visibility, I'm going to make a U-turn and show you how easy it is to make U-turns with this car, but I have to find a proper place to do that. I think this is a good place for me to test the visibility of the car, because I can make a U-turn here and check the turning radius. And we'll stop here, turn on your indicators and adjust your side mirrors like this. Nice and easy. Ensure you get a good view. And as a standard feature, we have been provided a reverse camera, which is nice and easy. It is not the best of the quality, but it is enough to get the job done. And the rear visibility is really good. Of course, when there are no passengers on board. We'll change gears. The automatic transmission helps us here, because you don't have to bother changing gears. See, it's just a one-way turn. The turning radius of 4.8 meters. It's dead easy to drive in town. Now let's see how this car feels on the highway. Did you notice that? Yes, there is some level of wind noise and tire noise coming out, but that has to be expected when you're doing motorway speeds, of course. And car feels quite stable when you change lanes. That is really good. And let's just quickly check the acceleration. Now I'm doing 80. Let's see how long does it take to reach 100 kilometers. Now this is like the full throttle. 90, 92, 95, 98, 99, 100. Yes, fairly quick. But what I feel is you really have to press the gas pedal really hard in order to overtake at highway speeds, and I kind of feel like it's lacking low in torque. It is definitely not as punchy as a diesel engine, which I really love. But for Sri Lankan roads, I think this is more than fast enough, because we anyway have a highway speed limit of 100 kilometers per hour. So if you go faster than that, you are likely to end up getting speed tickets. And I have plenty of those already. And this car has a top speed of 180 kilometers per hour. I'm sure it has enough power to reach there. It's just that it's gonna take a while, and you will feel like you're doing leg workouts in the gym. Now let's see how this car feels on a twisty road. So to get the most out of the car, what we can do is we can turn off the eco button here, and that will make the throttle slightly more responsive, and that is pretty much everything you can do, because there is no sports button or anything like that. That's a bit weird, because in Toyota Prius we get a power button, but I don't think that will make any difference even if you get a power button here, because even in the Prius it only makes the initial part of the throttle slightly more responsive. It's not a massive difference, but really, boy, this car goes around corners better than I was expecting. It doesn't lean too much. Actually, it stays flat. And I was not expecting that. This is really good. And I can say it is almost fun to drive. So I think part of the reason why it doesn't lean too much when you go around corners is because of that firm suspension. So when it goes around a corner, it doesn't lean, and you do sit quite low in the car. So that's quite a sporty feeling. And don't forget, this car is super light. It only weighs 1,148 kilos. And all these factors help improve handling of the car. Don't get me wrong, it is not as fun to drive as a rear-wheel drive car such as a BMW, because see, this car is front-wheel drive. So you don't get the same sensation of being pushed through a corner like you do get in those cars. And you cannot do power slides and donuts. But really, I have no complaints about the way this handles, and it handles good enough for what it is. So then, what's my conclusion about this? Well, if you are looking for a car that gives you really good fuel economy, a car that is really easy to maneuver in town, a car that is super reliable, this should be at the top of your list. And if you want to know exactly how much does it cost on monthly basis, ensure you watch our in-depth financial review where we talk about the expenses of owning this car. And if you enjoy the video, ensure you subscribe, like and share. See you in the next one.